Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
What's going on, everybody?
We're here, Brian. We made it. The Big D season one finale entitled The Big Goodbye. 10 episodes. Listen right off the top, really quick. I enjoyed the show. I think the show has a good premise. I think there's some improvements they can make, and we'll kind of maybe talk about that at the end of the episode. Maybe some things that we think they should do differently. But overall, I enjoyed covering the show. I would wager to say that I think I actually enjoyed this more than Temptation Island this season, as far as Hump Day Wednesday. Brian, what were your thoughts about the finale and the season overall?
I don't think I enjoyed it more than Temptation Island, but I agree with you. I enjoyed the show. I think it did a pretty good job for being like a totally new concept show. Had some hiccups, like you said, but I think they could learn from it if it comes back. And I just think for the first shot, I thought it did pretty well. I thought the Jordan and JoJo did well enough for the amount of time they were on the show. I thought like the challenges could be probably a little better. That's probably where they can improve on. But I like the people. Like we met some cool people. We kind of still have somebody in the works that we're going to talk to. So it's just been nice. I always like talking to the cast, and they seem
Yeah,
like normal people.
for sure. Any cast members watching, obviously, would love now, especially since the show is over, to kind of
Right.
get your thoughts on the whole experience and the epilogue, which I think we can kind of talk about really quick after we talk about the winners, is interesting. And I'd love to get the epilogue a little bit more. And I'm sure some of the audience would love to know what happened to everybody. Let's lead off with spoiler alert. We're going to go over the winners, obviously, and everything there. So congratulations. We kind of thought this was how it was going to go, Brian, but Devin and Alexis, um, aptly a divorced couple, winning the Big D versus a couple that was a new couple that was going to try and start something like Ben and Casey. Uh, Happy for them. I do think they showed growth. I do believe them, though. We talk about other shows, like we're watching Love Island, where I believe one of these couples is a setup, and people are saying it's not, blah, blah, blah. I do genuinely believe that they didn't go into this, one, knowing each other were going to be there, and two, that like when this started, they were going to try to rekindle. But I'm glad they did. I think this happening allows, I think, this show to continue, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yep. We were saying that probably since like week 4 or 5 that they need to have somebody there at the end who was divorced getting back together. And I agree with you. I don't think that they're like they were a plant because the stuff they were arguing about was like very to me real things. Like your anger, you need to stop getting in fights. Like that is a
He's like,
normal
I'm afraid of
thing.
your mom. Like, your
Yeah,
mom
exactly,
hates me. Like,
exactly.
she's never gonna let me come back because of what
Right,
happened.
right.
Like it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, see this kind of stuff. I do that kind
Right.
of crap too. Like, I would be like, no, screw that person. They're out. Like,
Yep.
so that's why it's a shame. Now again, look, I love Temptation Island. I just do think some of the episodes this season were a little bit more fillery on that show
Mm.
this season. I do think literally there was no filler on Big D. They were eliminating someone every week. There was arguments every week. Like there was, and I think because the fact is it was very real, and these people didn't know this was going to be happening to them. I mean, you got poor freaking Brooks out there with his buck hand tattoo, like having to like shed his feelings when he's like, I just want to go to therapy, like some couples therapy with my ex because I just
Right.
need to know how to deal with this. And he's like, instead, I'm on this island and getting eliminated and gaslit the first week. And again, that guy was nuts. Like he admitted it.
100%.
But
100%.
I thought he did well, like overall in the finale, right? Like Crazy Brooks, like the
Hmm.
vote, he didn't get bitter with his vote. He talked to Ben and he talked to her. Like again, who knows how things have gone like after the fact.
Right.
But that being said, I think he definitely left with a good image with like the cast and with TV. And I think some of these people again are real people and they're probably pretty conscious that they don't want the last thing people know of them to be crappy. Unless you're Dean, you just don't give a shit.
Right. Exactly. He definitely does not give a crap.
Oh, he
Uh,
was sitting there with the girls calling other girls bitches and shit. He's like, her. He's like Devin. He's like Lexus. This bitches.
yeah, you like my girl. But I mean, man, he was good. It was good TV.
He's a drunk.
It was
In
good
my
TV.
opinion, he was just drunk like most of those times, right? Like when that was happening.
Probably.
Don't mean he's a drunk all the time, but again, if you're on this show, it's any of these reality. Sound like Bethany Frankel now, but I'm like, there's a load of them with alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some good updates. We did have the last Devin and Dean argument, obviously. Angelique, oh, this is so Jillian. Jillian was the worst, man. David's ex, she is such a jilted ex, and so obviously came to this show thinking he was, once they got into the situation, was going to try to fight for her. No interest. Hooks up with
Mm-hmm.
Angelique, and she slut shames her, man, right to her face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was rough.
Yeah. But hey, that's the thing, man. Everyone's different on the show. They got opinions, and they weren't holding back.
Um, very apropos to how I guess you would say the seesaw of the season with them. It said in the epilogue that they set up a romantic weekend together after the show, and she ghosted him on it.
Yeah.
That's rough. So
Yeah.
I want to know now. We had her on, or Angelique. If you're still watching, I want the story. Was this like he like flew to Hawaii and was waiting there in like the wildfires and like you're chilling at home and you never went to the airport, or did you like, is this like a rom-com where you went to the right to the security and you turned around and were, like
Mhm.
I like, did you change your mind 5 minutes afterwards? You could have told the guy and he could have got some Expedia bucks back. Like, I think these are all fair questions.
Yeah. Slide in our DMs. Let us know.
Yeah, you don't even have to come back on camera. Like, I just want to know.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, are we still gonna be friends after that opinion?
No, I mean, I was surprised. Like, I was surprised to see that like pop up. So, I mean, as someone who I enjoyed talking to her, I just am. We're just curious.
Is David a serial killer? Like, is there's just
Who
something we don't
knows?
know?
Who knows?
Who knows? He just sips the Falcons cup.
Yeah.
Um, there is like some funny. I mean, even the final thing, like the questions, right in the final, and it was very reminiscent of like a kind of like a survivor jury questioning almost.
Mhm.
Um, but I felt like the questions were kind of bad. I think next year that people got it loaded with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if someone.
Jordan coming stepping in for Ben and Casey during the red flags question. I think it's a dumb question. Like, why would you want to prepare like what you think the worst thing about the person you just met on a tropical island and spent 2 weeks with has? Like, why would you want? There better not be any red flags. Like,
Right. Exactly. Not worth the $25,000.
yeah, after
There
tax,
you
the
go. There.
7,500 in travel
Yeah.
vouchers.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, that prize money is a little again another reason why I think the show is going to be able to get approved for next season. Is
Mhm.
they just have this little house resort thing and they 50K. That's an easy tax write off for
Oh,
USA.
for sure. For sure.
Temptation Island people don't win any money, right? No, they don't win anything. They just get to
No.
win Mark's attention and
Right.
his
That's worth fifty
counseling.
thousand dollars.
Oh, it's worth it. I'm not saying that facetiously. I'm just saying like USA is running a good operation on how much their expenses on these
Right.
reality shows.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
think I just solved the question of how they keep getting renewed.
Right.
Um, there was I also just like some parting notes. The Core and Jillian were part of the bitter brigade. The people sitting there complaining that things weren't going to
Yeah.
work. I'm curious to see again how some of that stuff. Jillian, I mentioned her before. She gets to keep the fine china, even though it was a gift from David's mother. So, big win for her. I mean, she frankly came out probably with the second most prize money.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't think anyone else. I mean, David lost his China, and then he could go on. He needs to go on like Judge Judy and sue her for like
Mhm.
Angelique for like the $1,200 plane ticket and
Mhm.
reservation.
Mhm.
Oh, it's a lot of t-shirts. It sucks. Um. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. The other epilogue that was good, obviously, Devin and Alexis. They're going to get a house and they're going to have their dream wedding.
Mhm. So good for
So
them.
yeah, overall, I think a good season. I think a good premise, a great ending, obviously, with our team that we had been pulling for, Devin and Alexis winning. And yeah, hoping for a season 2 next summer. Perfect summer show, frankly. Like we said, it didn't seem like 10 weeks. So that's really good. So hopefully Hump Day Wednesday comes in, and then, like you said, the hosts got some good reps. So, have them more actively involved next year. Bring more family members in, though. Like, if they got a disapproving sister or a
Yeah.
disapproving mother-in-law, like, get them to the island.
Don't just
Like,
zoom them in, bring them in.
get them to the island. Like, let's get them loaded up with some pina coladas too, and like see what the hell happens here.
All right.
Make sure you're liked and subscribed here on YouTube and on TikTok. We cover anything and everything reality TV. If you have the notification bell set here and have us subscribed on TikTok, you will catch everything. Look at our playlists, look at the stuff on TikTok, and you'll get an idea of everything we are covering. But for myself and Brian, until next week, thank you. Peace.